Recording is on.
Epic. Let's see if it's recording the whole time. We just check it out. All right. Like this. Yeah. First, I would like to ask. Uh, yeah, what drawn you to my question like online? I was asking for people for past life readings.
Yeah, I guess it's like spirituality was always something that I've been curious about. I've always been open to like different forms of theology and belief, and also just been quite a sensitive person throughout my life. I also had like quite chronic asthma since I was born, so a lot of near death experiences, getting rushed to the hospital. So I would like kind of like pass I'll get really dissociative sometimes. It could kind of like being exposed to the trauma of death quite early on. So I think that experience really affected also like how I grew up, being dissociative and then being like a bit more attuned to the other side of the world as well. On the I wouldn't just call it dark, but then also the more spiritual sides.
Hmm.
Um, I've also then been I was reading this book about soul ties and spiritual knots. That so like in terms of your past lives and how that manifests in your current life, the certain habits that you have, or certain things that you avoid. For example, if you're more um, mm, risk adverse in your past life, that means you may be a bit more reckless now because that may be the promise that you made to yourself for the next life to have like a better life. So I was reading on that, understanding that, and then also trying to grow personally. And then the book also mentioned about like how you have like some turmoil with certain friends, certain groups, certain areas of your life when you start like breaking these like spiritual ties and knots. And I have been kind of experiencing that a lot in the past months. And then also like when then I do like psychedelics and stuff, I'm like hearing like conversations that maybe I have heard and I wasn't really consciously hearing them. But then now I'm then like hearing all these different perspectives on me. And I don't know if it's like inner projections or these actually come from people and I'm picking them up, even if they don't say them. Um, Another thing is like I just turned 26 now, and apparently that's usually when kind of like the karmic cycle is coming closer to a close.
Hmm.
So I've been seeing a lot of mirrors in the past 6 months or 7 months. Where when I moved to Berlin, because also very a loopy kind of simulation feeling city,
Yeah.
I was having a lot of notions where like I would hear things that I've said years ago, like a past version of me has said, or seen behaviors that I've done before, then kind of having this feeling like the world is mocking me or people are mocking me. Um, Feeling a bit dissociated from conversations, not really being in them, but kind of being a participant. Um, Not me mentioned by name, but then feeling like certain conversations are like being shun on me for me to learn something and shed like a pass off or like to reflect. So it's just been very weird. And when you shared that, I was then like curious to, yeah, maybe you can help me have a bit more understanding on that.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. Yeah, these kind of things tend to echo a lot. I think probably we will find out that something similar was happening at the end of your past life, or kind of same kind of themes that you're working through now. Um, so yeah, we can just dive into it and see what comes up.
Yeah.
Um, what I do is I ask the tarot questions about
Yeah.
your life, like your past life, your personality, your occupation, what happened. Like I go into details and I also like get insights during it, and so I can ask more questions, and then we have conversations about it and see what comes up for you, and how this also relates to your current life, and how this kind of matches with your astrology chart.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, at some point, I will have enough data, and then I use AI to like search for historical figures that match the tarot reading,
Okay.
and then I check. Yeah, mostly I check their pictures, and then it's either I'm like, oh yeah, that's him,
Mm.
or I dive a bit deeper, and then I have also astrology to kind of see
Guide
how, how the karmic layers and the lessons echo in both charts of the astrology.
you. Yeah. Cool.
Um, let's see. I was just and I write things down, so you hear me typing also in between. Mm, so I always like check first, like what was your personality like? Past life. So you're saying that you're a bit the dissociative.
Sometimes yes. Yeah.
Hmm. And does that also kind of like matches, or um, are you also like scattered in your head a bit, like chaotic?
I think it's the noise has reduced in the past months.
Okay.
Like December, then it was like super chaotic. Like I was going through like also some like friendship friendships falling apart and relationships, and then those people then talking about me in a negative light, and then having to deal with rumors and stuff.
Okay.
So then I dealt with a lot of anxiety and paranoia. So then that was like really intense. So
Hmm.
like sometimes yes, because of the hypersensitivity, reading into things, a lot of ideas as well, or reading a lot. Then yeah, my mind can also be quite chaotic. Yeah.
Yeah, you tend to pick stuff up
Mm,
subconsciously more.
mm,
Um, just checking your chart a little bit just to see what's up here. Yeah, there is some theme around community, or part of being part of a group,
mm-hmm,
that comes up in your chart. Mm, quite some intense energies around community, and being part of people, and
mm,
then energies like your personal kind of like transform transformative energy,
mm-hmm,
um, versus grounded stability.
mm,
Um, there's a lot of squares I see in your chart, and these are the
mm,
themes linked to the squares, like in short, without taking the houses into account because of the time.
mm-hmm,
We don't know the time exactly. So there's actually there's a pretty good team, and one of your biggest karmic lessons in this lifetime is to you're very used to being part of a community, and like being there for the community and doing stuff for the community, like giving yourself for the community.
mm,
This lifetime, it would be good for you to like step up and like be on on the stage, kind of more in the spotlight,
mm.
more of a role model, less thinking about what others need, or like less about trying to be part of groups or whatever, but more like stepping out of it and step on the stage and be that more of a role model.
Okay, interesting.
How does
Um,
how does that feel?
I think that feels correct because it was like I think I spend a lot of time kind of always being the giver, emotional giver, also in relationships. But then it led to a point where like I felt like it was really killing me, and then that was kind of something that I learned in my kind of last karmic upheaval, not this one, but like in 2023 after my breakup, to then kind of like set boundaries more, and kind of be, I wouldn't say selfish, but then I'm more, yeah, to myself. Recently, also the stuff that happened now showed me that being part of community takes away a lot of autonomy, which I need for my personality. Don't like people telling me how I should be, how loud I can be, how quiet I can be. I realize that being part of a bigger group leads to too many opinions that can't please,
Hmm.
and life is kind of pushing me to detach a bit from that and be more individualistic and don't be shy and hide. No more hiding, kind of.
Right. Yeah, that's what the universe tends to do, like to push you in this north node. Like the north node is this placement in astrology, which for you is in Leo, and that's kind of indeed kind of like stepping away from um, the groups, kind of. Let's see, because mm, the sun is in Taurus, Jupiter in Aries, Mercury in Aries. You also have some grand trine energies. Basically, it's a bunch of planets making triangles with
Mm-hmm.
very beneficial, like good energy. And this is in fire signs, so like you're probably really good in initiating creative projects or having new ideas and new energies and like new, but also this kind of individualistic kind of approach to life would be like more yeah, like focusing on yourself a lot. um when it comes to this trine, yeah, obviously you have other placements also kind of like balancing things out, I guess. um all right. Okay, I'm gonna just write this down for your personality. There's also this element, should be upright reversed. There's a little bit like the themes of being organized or unorganized, being a bit scattered, a lot going on in your head. But there's also a theme of knowing, of having learned how to pick yourself up over and over, kind of. I don't know how that is for you now.
Yes, kind of. Yeah, I think in different departments where like, yeah, always been a balance of chaotic organized. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but then also I kind of like to function in the chaos. Don't want to be too pristine organized. It's also like a topic between my co-founder and I, who's a bit more organized. And then he sees me as a bit more chaotic. My dissociative nature sometimes means that like I prefer to do things really fast. Find it hard to settle down sometimes and like really write a document for like hours or something, or read through a research paper or like skim read it and
Hmm.
understand it. Like sometimes friends will be like, "Have you read it already?" I'm like, "Yes." So I think there's that balance of taking time or being fast, organized and chaotic,
Right.
and kind of flip between them.
Hmm.
Mm.
I'm just checking your. Yeah, there's no. Yeah, I'm checking your Virgo versus Pisces placements, but uh, since we don't have the houses, it's difficult to see. There's
Mm.
no planets in Pisces or Virgo. Mm, Capricorn, you have eight. Oh no, that's I'm not sure if that's true. No, let's just continue. Uh, there might have been an element of waiting, or like either not taking action or taking a lot of action.
Mm.
And you probably were aware of kind of like how to manifest at the end of your life. I don't know if that's something that you work with now, like your ability to manifest things.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, something. I think it's something you've learned in your past life for sure. Mm, just want to check what your occupation was.
Hmm.
This could be work, but also other things like. mm, remind me again, what is your occupation in this lifetime?
So a lot of things. I mean, I studied business and finance. I'm co-founding a startup, Peaches. It's a creative music. It's a new type of electronic music platform. Aside from that, self-taught photography, visual arts, and also writing. Yeah.
Okay,
So into
nice.
this, yeah,
A lot of different things, but kind of like
yeah.
coming together. Yeah, great. Mm, so yeah, it's always difficult sometimes to read the cards. I just mostly just write them
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
In this because it's still like we're still in the beginning of the reading, so it's a bit open still. But first, I'm getting there's also kind of an element of being a bit impulsive, like
Mm,
maybe yeah, maybe when I look at your chart right now with this trine in fire signs, like you're really good at starting stuff or like doing initiating stuff. And I think maybe that's something that you've learned in the past life, and now in this lifetime it's kind of like something that you've earned, or that's kind of like energy that
mm,
helps you a lot. Mm, you were also doing something with either roaming around in the other realms a lot.
mm,
So mm, going back to your story from when you were a child, having the near death experiences, this might also be kind of an echo in a sense, like in your past life you were also like, I think you've trained that very well to be in
mm,
this other realm
mm,
somehow. mm, and in this lifetime it just had to open up from an early age, or like,
mm,
yeah, I don't know how yet how this kind of like manifests, but there's an element of that in your occupation.
mm,
um it feels a little bit heavy but also very positive kind of, and I think that's what we first had with your personality, like you in your past life, like being able to pick yourself up very well, so there's like this positive mindset potentially,
mm,
mm, that works through these like heaviness, potentially also kind of like the spiritual initiation process, like being confronted with yeah, difficult like pressure from the outside, and you just needing to like pierce through it and learn to stay positive and be stable.
mhm.
mm.
That seems quite accurate.
Do you have that in this life?
Yes, in this life, quite a lot. I think there's always been like, throughout my life, there's always been like setbacks that I have to kind of like overcome and rise above. It's never really gone for me in the usual way. Even like um, when I finished high school and stuff, uh, then some stuff happened, and then I couldn't like go to university straight away. And then most of my friends did go, and then just had a really weird year. But then that year kind of taught me a lot, gave me this kind of individualism as well. Same thing with university. I got sick for one of my exams, and then also finished a bit later. Um, but then also kind of faced some financial difficulties because of that. Because then I couldn't start working straight away, and that was the original plan. Um, but that also meant that I spent a bit more time in Berlin, which then kind of also shifted my life path a bit away from like the more business and corporate world to even more creative. Uh, and then now, again, the things that I'm going through, the work that I'm doing, is also kind of like another setback, and then I have to, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of like a common theme of this, like kind of back and then forward and then back and forward that I have to write about. It's weird, don't know what it is, and it's like when does that cycle kind of end, or is it like a forever thing?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're like an advanced soul. So it's like early on it opened up. So like, hey, here are your lessons. Have fun. Yeah, I think like probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, let's see what your job was. Mm, okay. First, Brian, first. I am getting probably something around art or something creative or like some kind of artist kind of thing.
Mm.
There is also an element of success, but also like an element of uh, um, just Natalia. Send her the link.
Ah, awesome.
Um, there is an element of kind of out of being out of balance, kind of, or pushing, maybe pushing it too much, like
Mm.
um, yeah, maybe focused a lot on work or like doing a lot, like maybe this impulsive energy or like this initiating a lot, or which then also led to the scatteredness and yeah, like there could also be an element of working with partners or being with a partner a lot, or not
Mm-hmm.
being like kind of like not being independent.
Mm.
mm, Around your career, so very much around that.
Mm.
um let's see.
What's that?
Hey, Natalia.
You're really big young. Guys, I'm just gonna be listening, and if there's anything, I will be just voicing things, but I will be
I cannot hear you.
just tuning. How are
Said,
you? Where you at?
mm.
Where are you at? Like, what's the progress so far?
We're just diving into some like personality traits and like what kind of job, and meanwhile also talking a lot about how the current life is, and how this resonates with what I'm getting here from this past life. Yeah. What's your part gonna be? Well, okay.
Well, if you still have me here, I will just record this and just listen. I will just give you some feedback on if there's like a direction that I'm feeling in the body that is that since I don't want to do a video right now, I just wanted to maybe react with comments or with um, later on. I just want to kind of like give the space fully to you too. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you.
Um, all right. So some kind of like, let me write this down. Being successful in partnerships, potentially giving a lot. Maybe in this partnership also kind of giving a lot. Is that something that resonates now?
Yeah, kind of as well. Yeah, like you're giving a lot, but then there's still like this like friction of like um finding my individuality in the partnership. So maybe if the past life involved a lot of partnerships, maybe there's also like this tension on where I may feel constrained sometimes, and I want to like kind of like be a bit more of myself. So I think I'm trying to find the balance of working with someone, understanding that person, but then also being authentic to myself, how I want to lead my life, and how I want to also approach work.
Right. Yeah. That seems to resonate with the past life. And let's see, the job. In what fields were you active? Just to see. So there must be some kind of community, probably, or
Is your video still on, by the way?
is it not?
Mm-mm.
And now?
Or
Sometimes I go to the Word document to write it down.
okay, no, it's gone for me. Or is it just me?
I think so.
Natalia?
Oh, Nataliya doesn't have the video on.
Yeah, I'm just asking her if she can see yours, or
Ah, okay.
maybe it's. I'm just seeing a black screen, but it's okay.
Well, let me turn it off and on.
What's the question? Like, because I see both of your videos.
Ah, maybe it's me. Right.
Oh.
When did you start?
Yeah, a bit later. We had a
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
and
Okay,
now
it's working.
you
I think
see
it
it?
was me. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I've asked what fields you were active, and I'm getting a lot of energy, a lot of movement. Um, there's also again this theme of kind of like either in partnership, trying to be harmonious, or trying to like get things like harmonious or in order, or kind of mm, out of conflict, I would say.
Mm.
I'm getting learning, potentially education even. Let's write it down. Is it anything to do with education? Just to see if that resonates. Yeah, there might be a theme, or because I asked the cards in what fields were you active, and I'm getting learning something also around this kind of like finding balance also, and like harmony, mm, while also having this kind of energy, like a lot of movement. And now I'm asking the cards, is it around something around education? And then I'm also getting the same kind of themes, but it's a lot about finding balance, finding um yeah, like a balance between harmony, chaos, or conflict, or being inside, being outside, home, work, potentially. So mm, let's see. Education, learning. Okay, let's see. To confirm, were you if you were an artist, or of some kind of artist? Huh. I'm not getting super clear. Um, Again, something around learning and partnerships, or being codependent, or yeah, dependent on someone else somehow. positive. Okay, let's switch some gears. Are there any places in the world where you feel drawn to, or when you felt drawn to in this lifetime?
Home, of course. uh, uh, Aside from that, I haven't been. I'd love to go to Japan. Um, love, usually love being in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every time I've been there. In Cape Town, South Africa.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm.
Let's see what Paris brings up. Like, were you in Paris in your past life, or connected to it somehow? Yeah, there's definitely something around Paris. Mm, I was also in Paris, but shortly.
How was that?
Huh?
How was that?
Well, yeah, I mean, in this lifetime also. In this lifetime,
Oh, you mean the past
in
lifetime?
the
Yeah,
past life, yeah. This lifetime, I feel very heavy in Paris, very
yeah.
heavy. But uh, I was very tired and just depressed and
Mm.
addicted and just really fucked up.
Mm.
So I can feel it. I can feel that when I'm in Paris. And for you, is it more positive, or have you been?
Huh? Yeah, when I was there, it was more positive. Um, but I was like during an exchange semester, so. But also, yeah, a bit like depressed. I think like still, I was still figuring myself out. I was a bit too young, I think, when I was there. I think it can mean something else now. Um, Berlin, Berlin is more like the heavy and feels like I'm always fighting against something in there.
All right, all right. Just to go back shortly, what was the master you did in Paris?
So not the master, my bachelor. It's
Bachelor.
international business. Business.
Okay, bachelor. All right. Yeah, I'm getting like intense. Well, not intense, just a lot. Yeah, good energy in Paris. Like feeling content, really owning your kind of like manifestation skills and making things happen. You're on top of stuff. You're working. You're yeah, also getting tested in this kind of time when you were in
Mm,
Paris. So the
yeah,
same kind of like as you have in Berlin, probably a
mm,
lot of lessons and stuff. An element of either being too much in the dream world or cut off from reality a little bit. So there's the
mm.
theme again also. Mm, and let's check Berlin also. Were you in Berlin in your past life? Feels heavy. Yeah, Berlin feels heavy. Yeah, like isolated even, but I'm not sure if you were actually there or the cards are just saying no. Because I'm getting like really like heavy, but
Mm,
also like a form of being isolated or cut off,
mm,
like waiting too much, like not taking action somehow. So maybe something happened there actually that mm, didn't go through somehow, or something just did not move,
mm.
or maybe you're kind of like resolving that right now in Berlin, this energy.
Maybe.
Maybe. I just want to go in Paris. Was there any like business stuff that you were doing there?
Mm, Not so much. Mainly uni, and then I was working like on the side, but then like more remotely, but not so much business stuff.
Mm-hmm.
More little more chill.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Meanwhile, I'm asking also about your past life. Yeah, yeah, but it was nice to have it at the same time. Did he have any business going on there? Yeah, there's definitely an element of building something, something material, working through that, like not being able to get away from it, just like really mastering something, mastering some kind of skills or like yeah, some kind of business or also an element of mm, I would not say in a negative way, but a bit stuck there or like, like grounded even, like to work on something, to build something. Mm, now I'm just gonna
Some water.
put a little bit of data for now because I want to know more about the occupation. It's not coming true fully. Mm, let's see. Um, mm, mm. It's a bit slow. Yeah, normally there's like it's easy to catch kind of like what you were doing exactly, and now it's a bit
Yeah.
um, not 100% sure. Mm, the AI is also a bit slow. Past life career reading. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Highly intelligent, expressive person, a lot of inner knowledge or spiritual power. Also struggled with emotional or behavioral instability. His work likely combined public speaking, law, spiritual advising or teaching, possibly artistry, but not full commitment or success. Some role with recognition, but imbalance or burnout. He could have been a spiritual teacher who wrote or spoke publicly, a judge or legal philosopher, a journalist or activist who exposed hidden truths, or even a cult figure or a rebel intellectual who blurred the lines between art, spirit, and politics. Interesting. Is there anything that resonates there?
Maybe that's like the manifestation in this life, where kind of like maybe yeah, I do work in the arts, but then not fully like committed to it. Like trying to kind of merge and blend those different domains of. And then guess it's interesting that it's spiritual, but maybe for me it's more philosophy in this like lifetime. Philosophy, technology, and the arts, and that's in kind of the combination there,
Hmm.
and kind of having this like rebellious um, attitude.
Pioneering.
Behavioral, behavioral. It's interesting that you mentioned the behavioral problems there, because then maybe that's also something that like people may have like a perception of me where they're kind of confused of kind of that like archetype of person, but then in terms of behavior, also not fitting what you'd expect that
Hmm.
person to be kind of guess partying, being a bit more hedonistic, being a bit reckless and impulsive, because then also my other traits. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's also kind of like if this was you in your past life, and maybe in this lifetime not so much, but you're still carrying this imprint in your subconscious, and people picking that up, so they see you as this person. Like they're very picking. Yeah, they're subconsciously kind of picking that up because yeah, that's what you embodied in your past life, kind of. Um, Yeah, let's go. Let's see. Since you were in Paris, somehow were you connected to me?
Mhm.
Who knows? I was there for a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I was also. Mm, mm, potentially, but maybe more in the sense of knowing from each other, but both not really have the space to connect or something. Mm, let's see. Let's go to Berlin.
Mhm.
I just know now I want to get some more extra like data from these different places,
Yeah.
like what happened, also what happened overall in your life, stuff like that, to then just put in AI and see what comes up. Because I think this is nice. We have some quite good view now of what kind of person you were, or like what you did. Mm, so what happened exactly in Paris with you? Okay. Um, what happened in Paris? I'm getting something stirred you up there.
Mhm.
Um, Potentially some kind of soul connection. Um, Typically, that kind of, most of the time backfires, or like, when you meet like a high level soulmate and you're both not conscious or healed, then you start mirroring each other and like, yeah, projecting a lot, and then, things most of the time like explode, and then the one or the other is kind of like pushing back and isolating, or like leaving the other person out. A lot of like potential trauma coming up because of that also, and there's this element of learning or not being able to learn, or being
Mhm.
left out. Yeah, something like that. Not sure yet if this is like literally about love, but we can dive into that. Is that something that happens now as well?
I think like the last relationship that I had like that was in 2023 with my ex partner, where maybe I do feel like, yeah, it was really intense, like in terms of feelings and spirituality as well. But then at some point it got too codependent in a way, and I guess like intense for everyone, and then it kind of like
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
blew up. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
and
Someone came in.
and then also like, but interestingly enough, even when we weren't speaking for some time afterwards, still kind of like being able to get some downloads on how that person is doing,
Mhm,
or knowing when they would reach out, or if they're sick, or if something's not well with them. So I think that's kind of like the period that kind of also enlightened me on like, yeah, the power of spirituality as well.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's what tends to happen when you meet these kind of people. Yeah, for sure. Mm, Right, was this something around love? Of course, a lot happened. If you lived in Paris, so many things could have happened. So it's like a sum up using the cards is always kind of like, yeah, it can be so much, you know, it can be so rich. Mm, yeah, what's this? Something happened there around love for sure. And I'm getting, you know, like high level soulmate kind of vibes for sure. Like just what you now described also. And then after that, you know, like being so aware of being so connected to this person, and you feel things happening, or you know what they're thinking or doing, or can be like rather intense. Okay, let's move to Berlin shortly. Is what I'm getting. Maybe yeah. What happened in Berlin? Similar themes, or you know, it's like, yeah, these kind of like relationships, they can do so much in one's life. It can be so disruptive, and I have the feeling that in Berlin something similar happened, but way more heavy. It feels like isolated almost. Yeah, not being able to learn or something, or Five Pentacles, 10 Wands. And let's see, is there any relevance around Japan? This most recent life. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna write it down because it's a bit vague. And what about Cape Town? Most recent pet life, something relevant. No. So like, interesting. Yeah, there's also an element of Cape Town. Something. Pentacles. Potentially some kind of collaboration or working together with someone, mastering skills. Also like this avoiding conflict, kind of like being harmonious in relationships potentially. Let's see, were you born in Cape Town in your past life? Let's see.
Maybe.
I don't think so. He born in. But let's see, 9 Wands refers to. Were you born in Europe?
No. Or yes, in the past life.
Yeah, I'm getting definitely Europe. Yeah. Is that in Paris or in France?
Maybe
Hmm?
I'm thinking of the European countries where I felt most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think yeah, it's definitely out of all the places I've been, probably France felt the most home
Mm-hmm.
like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting energy there for sure. We are potentially reversed. Okay. Mm, okay, now let's see this kind of probable job kind of uh were you like a philosopher? Mm-hmm. There's some element of mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Do you write in this lifetime?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. What about?
Um, kind of like more abstract life experiences, like the things that I experience, and then turn that into kind of like an abstract way of journaling to then turn into surrealism, I would say.
Epic. Okay, cool,
Mm.
interesting. Let's see. Let me write that down. Mm-hmm. Um, Specifically, if you were a writer. Yeah, I'm definitely getting some writer vibes. Mm, but also, like, I don't know, maybe overthinking it or something, or there's also a little bit of chaos around this theme of writing. Maybe too much pressure or something like that. Anxiety's
Mm.
coming up, partying. What did you write about? About worrying.
I'm
um, it's a lot about. Okay, what did he write about? It's a lot about being independent. I'm getting so probably this theme has been big. If we would have had your time, then we would probably see more themes around Aries Libra, kind of like dependency, codependency, independency. Um, yeah, it feels like maybe even the disruptive events that happened in Paris and Berlin kind of made you write about this. Kind these soulmates stirring up certain aspects within you around these themes of independency. Um, or let's see, what else can I ask? Who is also kind of you also kind of public speaker somehow, teacher, speaker. Potentially, but this is, I think, this is where the theme of this community comes back. So potentially speaking for a group of people or a community.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the themes of dependency again. Maybe the being dependent on your community is what I'm getting. Is what also shows in your chart, or like this kind of karmic theme that you're working through. To step away from that a bit more. Is there any work out there you could find? It's good to check. Night ones. Yeah, probably there's something out there we could find. So let's see, what were you known for specifically? So nice to add to the list. Scattered, unorganized. A little bit. Reverse, upright. Yeah, this is what the personality we got from the beginning. This kind of like scattered, just being scattered and a bit all over the place potentially. But also the high priestess, like someone who's really connected to the other world, like you have right now also. You've been forced to be, in this lifetime. All right. Is this enough data? Checking. Data.
Data.
Okay. Let's. I'm gonna put this in AI with some of the astrology notes also. North Node Leo. Opposite Uranus. Aquarius. Chiron, Sagittarius. So Chiron is like a karmic wound. Pluto is there as well, so it feels like this theme of philosophy or connecting to the higher self or deeper knowledge, stuff like that. It has like a karmic load on, like a karmic trauma or something, or potentially something that you've embodied also a lot in your past life, but that came with trauma. Sagittarius. And let's see, Saturn, Taurus. And this is Pluto opposite Venus. Interesting, I have that also. Very intense. Venus in Gemini. Chiron opposite Venus in Gemini. Where is it? Ron Trine in fire signs. That is also the north node. Vesta.